talk about the issues that Americans care most about?
I'm talking about things that Donald Trump has said.
Kamala Harris and her allies, it's interesting. You guys seem to care.
I'll tell you that. They wouldn't.
Well, they should watch your network more because you guys seem to care more about Donald Trump's past than the future of the American people. So why don't we talk about the policy that's affecting American citizens and not what Donald Trump allegedly said, according to one guy who's pissed off because he got fired by Donald Trump?
J.D. Vance obliterated Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper, known for pushing hoax after hoax after hoax, including the Russian collusion hoax and many others, now got taken to the mat by J.D. Vance. This was a fun exchange, and J.D. was making it rain all across the media. He also showed up with Meet the Press and had a conversation with her. Look at him sipping his coffee like he's just cool as a cucumber, and this was fun.
Ask yourself a basic question about network integrity. You guys talked about the Russia hoax nonstop.
The FBI was investigating it. The FBI was investigating it, and so we covered them.
And so you took the words of unnamed FBI agents and put them on your network as if they were the gospel truth. You did it again and again. A viewer of your network would have believed that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin conspired in 2016.
No.
That was totally and preposterously false.
No.
Well, that's
what you just said is false.
No, Jake, you did that. You did that with the Steele dossier. You were spreading around Hillary's fake email server story. She was retweeting, reposting that fake excerpt from Jake Sullivan saying, our computer scientists have... Ridiculous. They spread it all over the place. They did it again in 2020.
We covered an FBI investigation. I don't know why you want to talk about the FBI investigation.
You covered it in a way that gave credence to anonymous sources' accusations. You did it yourself. Your network did it, Jake. But again, can we talk about the issues that Americans care most about?
I'm talking about things that Donald Trump has said.
Yes.
If you have an issue with whether or not he's talking about the economy enough, that's between you and your running mate. I'm talking about things he has said this week.
Every single rally that he does, he talks about how he wants to unleash American energy so we can lower the cost of groceries. He talks about the fact that housing has become unaffordable. He talks about the wide open border, Jake. Kamala Harris and her allies, it's interesting. Kamala Harris and her media allies, and I would put CNN in this category. You guys seem to care.
I'll tell you that. They wouldn't.
Well, they should watch your network more because you guys seem to care more about Donald Trump's past than the future of the American people. We're running this campaign on making the American dream.
I'm specifically asking about how Donald Trump is going to be president in the future should he win, and then we're being told
he's going to pursue economic policies that lower the cost of groceries and make life more affordable again. He talks about it every single day on the campaign trail, and so do I. What you're talking about is an anonymously sourced story, or one guy
nothing anonymously sourced,
or who one guy who was a disgruntled employee.
I told you,
five other people pushed back against him and said that what he said was dishonest. So why don't we talk about the policy that's affecting American citizens and not what Donald Trump allegedly said, according to one guy who's pissed off because he got fired by Donald Trump?
Amazing. So it was a really great interview because then Jake Tapper says, what, everybody who's coming out against Trump is just wrong and you guys are right? And he says, yeah, they are. They're all wrong. They're all warmongering neocons who are upset with Trump because he didn't take them to war so that they could just spend money on bombs and missiles for their defense contractor buddies. And Tapper was one of the biggest Russia collusion hoaxers of all time. There's a song, Russia collusion, Trump, Russia collusion, something, Russia collusion. It's all with Jake Tapper, okay? He's all over the place because that was his shtick. Now, no, it was Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. They had Michael Sussman feeding it to the FBI. It was fake. Then they fed it to the media. And Slate, I think, picked it up. It was all an operation. No different than the 51 laptop letter that was also fake information that they also ran with and shoved down everybody's gullet. Now Jake Tapper, and you could see he was not happy here. You could see if he was watching his face, I was watching his face as he was reacting to this. See this kind of like little right here, right there is kind of like, what the heck? This dude's hitting me right there. He's like, right there, that little, see that? He's like kind of confused. He's like not really used to this. I think he's probably having a moment of cognitive dissonance. I did not do those things, right? But you clearly did. So JD was also here on Meet the Press with, I think her name is Kristen Welker. Here's what he said.
So this week we learned that China was behind a broad hacking campaign targeting the phones of both presidential campaigns, highlighting the threat that China poses to this country. And yet Donald Trump recently called his domestic political opponents, quote, the enemy from within, and said they are more dangerous than Russia and China.
Yeah.
Do you believe that people like Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi are more dangerous than Russia and China?
Yes, I do.
I think what Donald Trump
JD's going to say a nice political answer. Let's listen.
Said is that those folks pose a greater threat to United States' peace and security because America is strong enough to stand up to any foreign adversary.
Do you agree with him? They pose a larger threat to the United States than Russia and China?
What he said, and I do agree with this, what he said is that the biggest threat we have in our country, it's not a foreign adversary because we can handle these guys.
Right.
We can handle foreign conflicts. We can't handle, look, under Nancy Pelosi's long life in public leadership, the United States has gone from the preeminent industrial power of the world to second next to China. That fundamentally belongs on Nancy Pelosi's shoulders. And if we're going to have a more prosperous country, we've got to recognize our own leadership is why we lost our industrial base to China. Our own leadership is failing to lead this country into peace and prosperity. And of course, Kamala Harris, look, when I look at the biggest threats to America, Kristen, I think the fact that people can't afford groceries, the fact that we can't meet our recruitment goals in the military, the fact that Americans have a wide open southern border, that's a way bigger threat than any foreign threat. And yes, it's caused by broken leadership.
Yeah, and Adam Schiff got censured for lying about the Russia collusion hoax, for manipulating evidence, for being totally dishonest about that. That is instigating a war, a global world war with a nuclear power, okay? It's treasonous behavior, and he did that to take out Trump, and he got caught doing that. So yeah, he's a much bigger threat. Nancy Pelosi, she cooed Joe Biden out of the White House. You want to talk about an insurrection? Talk about somebody undermining American democracy? It's Nancy Pelosi cooing a sitting president. And Trump and JD are absolutely right. And I have this right here. You see, this is an American flag with a quote from Lincoln, and it says, "America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves," from Lincoln. So I think they're absolutely right about that. I've got a lot more concerns about Jocelyn Benson and Jenna Griswold throwing or attempting to throw Trump off the ballots and rigging elections, and Liz Cheney creating fake J6 insurrections. That is the real concern that we're actually worried about.